And welcome back, everyone, to a series that I started a while ago, and every once in a while, when I feel up to it and got some time, which I do today, we'll do new installments of the Pokemon That Need to Be Made series. Now, I did a part one a little while back, and just going to continue doing it. And as you saw by the title, I'm at least going to start by going through all the types in order, at least whatever order there is, like how we saw them in the original decks. I think that's the best way for me to just kind of condense ideas down, because otherwise I'm just going to be going off on random assortments of ideas. But yeah, grass types. So with grass types, a lot of concepts have already been done, admittedly, but there's still a lot of room for growth. And it's the internet. We've seen exactly what people can do with grass types. There's theoretically no limitation to what you can do. You just got to think on it. So here are my proposed 5 ideas for grass types. And first and foremost, carnivorous plants. Now, we have a Victory Bell and we have Carvanum, which is a Venus flytrap and a pitcher plant, pitcher plant and a Venus flytrap, respectively. But there are other carnivorous plants out there, and I can't remember the name of this one, but this is a very unique one that's basically like a sentient fern, kind of, with these little droplets of sticky, sweet substance, actually acid, that helps the plant digest it. It basically curls up and over. We need more. And like, look, if you go into fiction, there are plenty of ideas for carnivorous plants out there. A lot of them are just variations, admittedly, on the Venus flytrap, but still, there are plenty of ideas out there. You don't have to pigeonhole yourself into any one concept, or say, okay, we did it the one time, never again. There's different ways we can look at a pitcher plant. There's different ways we can look at a Venus flytrap. And there's still, as we just saw right here, other carnivorous plants out there. Now, how exactly would I maybe turn this into a Pokemon? Actually, I think it's very simple. You make, and this is weird to say, a grass octopus. Think about, because let's be very clear. There's a ground hippo, so a Pokemon that is based off an animal that generally would be in one environment does not have to necessarily be of that type. So an octopus doesn't have to be, water type. Case in point, Grapplock. Which, by the by, we only really have not even two octopus lines. We got 3 actual octopus Pokemon with, was it Clobbopus, Octolock, or I think it's Octolock is the name of the attack. Grapplock, there it is, and Octillery. But that's it. Like, how do we not have more octopus than those 3? And one squid in the Malamar line. Like that, there's something off there. But yeah, a grass octopus, I think that's maybe add the poison type because it's carnivorous, dissolves its prey, similar to like a Victory Bell or something along those lines, I think would work out pretty well. But moving into animals, look, we've only had one of these, but if you know how sloths work, it baffles me that we don't have a grass sloth Pokemon. Do you know how slow sloths actually move? They move so slow, algae grows on their backs. That's how slow sloths move. That is literally set up, Game Freak, for you to make a grass-type sloth Pokemon. Take that out of the equation here. The fact that we only technically have, when you really break it down, think about this for a second. When you really break it down, we have, no joke, one actual sloth Pokemon. Vigoroth and Slaking, while Sloth in some capacity, particularly in Truant for Slaking's ability, are not Sloth in design. They are not Sloth in design at all. They're not like Slack Off absolutely is. 100%. And he's a cute little guy. I love him. Vigoroth, actually a pretty solid little mid-stage Pokemon. Slacking is not and I can still see the concept of the sloth there. It looks more like an ape, quite frankly, but I can still see it there. You've lost all the sloth with slacking. Like, there is no sloth left with slacking. It really is more like a gorilla than anything else, really. So, And with the idea that there are ancient sloths that are just these giant lumbering creatures, which I think is kind of what they were trying to go with, but completely lost the design angle for in the slacking line. The idea of either a grass starter who's a sloth, who then turns into a ground sloth, or like a fossil Pokemon who's a sloth. All that's up for grabs. So grass-type sloth is a very rich market you could go into. But let's move back into something more edible. Although sloths technically can be eaten, apparently they taste bad. At least giant sloths did. We have a lot of fruit-based Pokemon. We have an apple-based Pokemon with Applin. We have a lot of Pokemon that have like fruit and berries on them. There is no orange Pokemon. And actually there's no watermelon Pokemon now I think about it. But there are Pokemon like, oh god, I know there's a few other fruit Pokemon out there. Oh, olives are vegetables, but still, I believe there is a grape. Not a grape Pokemon, but a Pokemon involved with grapes, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Point being, there's a lot of areas of fruit you can explore. I'm surprised with the ideas that we had in Scarlet and Violet. There actually wasn't a fruit-based Pokemon that was either orange or grape. But the big one that stands out to me is one of the most famous fruits out there, the banana. Particularly the varieties of banana you have. Now you might say, well, Tropius is a banana. Tropius has banana-like fruit that hangs around its neck, that grows off it. They are not called bananas, though. In lore, they are not bananas. And bananas exist in the Pokemon world. It would make sense that there would be a Pokemon that you're adapts to look like a banana, to either hide from predators or lure in prey. I've seen some great concepts. If you go to subjectively, when doing the Mazda reason, he does a great banana shark Pokemon. Or it's at least a banana fish, I know that. So a Pokemon that in concept looks like a banana, I feel like is not, no pun intended, right for the picking. The picking part was the pun intended. I was about to say ripe, and I'm like, I'm about to make a pun, screw it. So yeah, and as you can see here, multiple types of bananas. You could have a Pokemon similar to, what was it, Squawkabilly, where you could find it. It has an evolution, but the evolution maybe has a secondary typing depending on the type of banana it's based off of. Like you could have unripened bananas, ripened bananas, like plantains, I believe, are a smaller type of banana. You could have different colors, different types of bananas represent different stats. If you can figure out where you'd put those stats. The idea again would just be what type of Pokemon do you make the banana. There's the bananas, but people made banana slug Pokemons because that's the real life creature. People have made, like I said, subjectively did the banana fish. You could probably do a banana snake. Honestly, going by with the carnivorous plant, you can make a banana octopus. You can make a banana spider. Technically, wandering spiders are called banana spiders, but they're not actually banana spiders. Like, they don't look like it or anything like that. Banana slugs are called that because they look like bananas. But banana spiders, you could do. There's a whole idea here with bananas. And you can even go even further. Maybe it's something that looks like a regional Tangela that's covered in bananas. There you go. And what would its extra type be, I wonder? I gotta think on that real quick. What would the extra type? Something sweet food fairy. Grass fairy. Tangela covered in bananas. Tangrowth is just covered in bananas. There you go. I just made that for you. I'm just spitballing on you right now. So that's that. Fourth option I have up is another animal. And we're really going to end off on animals because when it comes to plants, there's already plenty of tree Pokemon with Sudowoodo, Trevenant line, the Arbola Smoliv line. We could still, there's plenty of other trees out there. But you can still do that. We already have a couple cactuses with Maractus and the Cacnea line. But again, you can do more. There's plenty of them out there. Hell, we've now just had a tumbleweed Pokemon. So flowers, flowers are just all over the place. So it's not that big a deal. This is actually kind of like grass is a little hard to kind of think of because a lot of concepts for grass have kind of been taken in some capacity. But that being said, there's seaweed. Seaweed I thought of and I'm like, well, you have Delmise and you have the Dragalge line, but neither of them are actually seaweed. One's a sunken anchor, and one is a water dragon, and neither of them. I think Delmise is a grass type, grass ghost, but it's not really seaweed. So a seaweed-based Pokemon I'd also suggest. But beyond that, a grass elephant I think is a very, like, kind of obvious option. We don't have many elephants. We have the Fampi and Donphan lines. They are elephants. We have the Copper Raja line. And you got your Paradox forms, which don't freaking count. That means you have just 4 elephant Pokemon in the total history of Pokemon. Like, look, that's almost as unforgivable as 1 shark. But not quite, because 1 shark with the amount of variety you have of sharks is just kind of ridiculous. With elephants, though, there's a lot more you can do because you can go back in the past for things like mastodons and woolly mammoths as well. Now, before anyone says anything, Mamoswine is technically a mammoth, but you don't give it a trunk, it's not a mammoth to me. It's just a really big pig with really big tusks. That's it. So don't. I mean, people are going to try to argue it. You can argue it all day long. You can maybe even give me the evidence to say that's what it's based off of. That's what they say. They can say whatever they want, Game Freak. Game Freak has said a lot of things. I don't believe every last bit of it, but they say a lot of things. So, but yeah, an elephant Pokemon, one based off palm trees, for example, that has like palm trees for ears. One that's, I've seen some options where it's actually got like a little mountain on it and it turns into like a forest with the mountaintops on it. It's a rock grass type. The idea, I've seen one where the trunk turns into a hammer. Like, you go and look up grass type elephant Pokemon, Fakemon, and you will find a lot of options in there. So it's just, and again, it's a Pokemon also that works well as the concept for a starter too. A little elephant Pokemon, think about this. We have not had an elephant starter yet. We've had a lot of options here. We've had frogs with both Froakie, and technically Bulbasaur is a dinosaur, but he's also kind of a frog too. So that we've had little salamander lizards. We actually only had one of those, a Charmander. Think about that. Nope, taking it back. We've had Sobble too. I apologize for that. Oh, and Trico. Now I think about it. So never mind. I'm completely wrong. So we had that. We've had turtles. We've had 1 water and 1 grass turtle. I'm surprised we haven't had the fire turtle yet, but with breaking the cycle, fire turtle is probably going to come eventually. You've had a little echidna, which was a weird one. You've had a little pear dinosaur. You had a crocodile, and 2 out of the 3 types. You've had multiple different birds, from chickens to penguins to owls. What was the most recent bird? I know there was one more. Oh, and ducks. So you've had all that. You've had monkeys. Only 1 monkey. No, 2 monkeys. You've had 2 monkeys. You've had 1 snake. I am shocked by the 1 snake, by the way. That's something we need made. I'll probably put that in a starter video. But yeah, 1 snake. No. We need more than 1 snake. 1 pig. Only 1 pig. 1 otter. Okay. You've had 1 little chipmunk hedgehog thing with Chespin. 1 fox. In fact, only 1 canine in general. I'm actually surprised about that. 1 cat. Oh, no, 2 cats. Sprigatito and Litten. Sorry, I have to try to remember it all now off the top of my head there. And 1 seal. Just 1 seal. 1 rabbit. And you've had 1 little I'm sorry, you've had 1. Nope. Then that was it. There is so much more exploration for starters, and an elephant would be a perfect option. Honestly, on any front, I'm preaching for the grass one, but a water elephant makes complete sense. And a fire elephant concept is a very interesting idea on how you would do that. I almost kind of want the fire starter to be an elephant now. Though, honestly, I'm like a lot of people. I'm with the Chinese Zodiac concept, even though it's been broken. I want a snake fire starter. But that's beside the point. I think an elephant is ripe for a grass typing. And last but not least, and now this goes back to a question I answered in the Q&A. If I were to design design some Pokemon as the champion of a region, if Game Freak told me I was going to do that, what would I do? The Kiwi. Look at this little bird. This is such a unique Pokemon. It is a flightless bird from New Zealand. It lays an egg that's 2/3 the size of its body, or I think it's 1 to 2/3 the size of its body, and only 1. But the baby comes out pretty much fully, like, ready to go out the gate. It's got this long. It looks like it should be a Pokemon, and I have advocated, if we get an Australian-based region, that we get a grass Kiwi starter Pokemon, because Kiwis are just these cool little birds, and it's named after a fruit that it even looks like. It's in the name, folks. It's in the name. like this is literally printing concept. Now, granted, they have to do a New Zealand Australia region for this to make sense as a starter. Because if they introduced this, say, in any other region as a non-starter, I'd be happy, but I'd also be like, this it doesn't belong here. It belongs in the Australian region. You need to put it in the Australian region. But the concept in my head has always been you go from Kiwi to emu to moa. The moa is an extinct flightless bird from New Zealand that was hunted to extinction. It is a giant bird. It dwarfs ostriches. It's like a 10 feet tall minimum. And so because it's a flightless bird, you would not put the flying type on it. You would have it grass, and then I personally think you either go ground, rock, or if you want to go a different route, you go from kiwi to emu to cassowary, which are nightmare birds, and you go either grass to fighting or possibly grass to steel because they have this crust on their head that's used to basically protect their head while they're running through the forest. So yeah, and that would go work too because of the blade on their foot. So that's always been my idea. But a Kiwi Pokemon is just a Pokemon that needs to exist in my mind. Like the fact we haven't gotten there yet baffles me. I do think though Game Freak is definitely holding off concepts and designs for regions that make sense in. Like for example, whenever we get the Australian-based region, whenever that is, and let's be clear, as long as Pokemon makes money, they will keep making Pokemon games, and we will keep getting Pokemon. So they will go through the entire damn planet before. Honestly, I'm probably I'm gonna be rotting in the ground by the time and they'll still be going with Pokemon. That's how long Pokemon's probably gonna last for. So eventually, every region, every simple place you can think of, will have a region based off it. I'll be in the nursing home at 80, and I'll just be sitting there, it's like, my day playing my game. It's like, that's for children. It's like, why are you doing this? God, you should grow up. It's like, and why would I want to do that? Do you realize how fucking horrible being a adult is? It sucks. Kids got it easy by comparison, by a long margin. Man, do I long for the days of not having a lot of responsibility. But you play with the cards that are dealt. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, Kiwi Pokemon, Carnivorous Plants, Sloth, Banana, Elephant. These are just some of the concepts for a grass-type Pokemon that I would like to see implemented in Game Freak and that I think needs to be made. What are some ideas you have for grass Pokemon that need to be made? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.